Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rangjun classes. In previous lecture, we have completed with the or we have covered the introductory part of this chapter, Plant Kingdom, in which we have studied the different classification system and branches of taxonomy. And the division occurred into cryptogamy and phanerogames. And in cryptogames, lower plant, first we are starting with the algae, then we will discuss about the bryophyte and pteridophyte. So today we are going to start with the algae. Okay. So as you listen this word, the image which can be produced in your mind, that is of a greenish covering over the water or in a lake or in a river. This greenish covering which cover the water body, usually that is nothing but a algae. So first we talk about general characteristic of algae, then we will discuss the classifying part. So if we talk about characteristic of algae, you can see this is algae. They are chlorophyll bearing. See, they are chlorophyll bearing. They have a chlorophyll which give them a particular coloration, as well as this chlorophyll help in photosynthesis. They are simple. If we see, they are thalloid. Here, if we talk about thalloid means they have root-like. They have root-like, stem-like, and leaf-like structure. But their body is not differentiated into true root, stem, and leaf. Because of this, their body is considered as a thalloid body. Then they are autotrophic, they synthesize their own food, not dependent on other, and they are largely aquatic. Usually, they are known to grow on the aquatic body or water body. And some of them are found in fresh water as well as some of them are found in marine water. So algae can be both habitat like fresh water and marine. When we talk about their occurrence or habitat, they are found on variety of habitat like moist stone, wood. They can also grow in soil. You can see this is in a water body. Then on moist stones, you can see they are growing, and they are going particularly on the wood, and in soil also they can grow. It is known that some of them also occur in association with fungi and form a lichen. We have discussed lichen in the previous chapter. Alright. It is a symbiotic association of algae and fungi. So with fungi, they found in symbiotic association, mutually beneficial association, and they can also found on the animals like the sloth bear. Okay, so this is their habitat. The form and size of algae is highly variable. Highly variable. Some small single-celled algae can be found. Some large algae that can grow up to the 100 feet. That type of algae can also be found. So the form and size, if we talk, the form and size are highly variable in algae. You can see this is the lichen. This is particularly animal sloth bear on which this algae can grow. The form and size of algae is highly variable. The microscopic unicellular forms of algae exist. And if we talk about unicellular forms, single-celled forms of algae, they are chlamydomonas. Okay, this is the chlamydomonas, that's the green algae, which is unicellular. Then, okay, so this type of unicellular algae can be found. After this, the colonial forms of like algae are also exist. If we talk about colonial forms of lichen, algae, then they are the volvox. You can see this is a volvox. Then filamentous form of like an algae are also exist, and they are Eulothrix and Spirogyra. These both are, you can say, a filamentous form of algae. Okay, so colonial we have discussed, unicellular we have discussed. Okay, I want you to make some note down some of the other example of the unicellular forms of algae. Chlamydomonas, if we see, it is actually motile green algae. See, because they have flagella. Apart from this, some other example are there like chlorella. That is also a particular unicellular green algae, but it is non-motile, single-celled green alga. Apart from that, one more example of unicellular algae is acetabularia. This acetabularia is one of the known example as it is the largest algae. It is, you can say, largest algae or largest unicellular plant. Okay, so these are the particularly largest single celled plant, and it is umbrella shaped, and it is also a green algae. Okay, so these all are the unicellular forms of the algae. We will discuss what is green algae in later part. Then there is a colonial forms also, and in colonial, one of the known examples that we have discussed, it is volvox. Now in volvox, if you see this diagram, in this diagram you can see this is the volvox. If you see, this is volvox, but this is a daughter colony of volvox which is found. Okay. Now this volvox is in a colony, or they form a colony, and it is a colony of a cell. But in volvox, number of cells in colony are fixed, and such type of colony, such type of colony with fixed number of cells is called cenobium. What it is called? Cenobium. So you should remember that the volvox is an example. Volvox colony is an example of the cenobium. Then some filamentous forms are also exist in algae, and the examples are Eulothrix and Spirogyra. If we talk about Eulothrix and Spirogyra, these both, if we talk, they are a green algae actually, and they are multicellular and filamentous green algae. Okay, and in this multicellular and filamentous green algae, if we talk, then Spirogyra is non-flagellated, non-motile, whereas Eulothrix is a motile. Okay, so this is the thing which is known to occur in case of this particular examples. Okay, so these are the particularly Elothrix and Spirogyra. After this, a few of the marine forms are also exist in algae, and these marine forms are known as kelps. They are known as kelps, and they form massive plant body. Actually, these kelps are nothing but large-sized brown algae. Actually, this particularly we can say large-sized brown algae, and you can see these are the kelps. Okay, you can see in a particular way how they look. When we talk about the cell wall of algae, the cell wall of algae consists of cellulose and other carbohydrate. So it is made up of cellulosic cell wall usually, okay, and some carbohydrate may present. In cell wall, it is also known as that in cell wall, it is also known that in cell structure you will see one statement. The cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin, but mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, and minerals. Sorry, galactans, mannans, and minerals like calcium carbonate. So cellulose, galactans is a polymer of galactose, and mannans is a polymer of mannose. Okay, so that you will see. Now, in addition to the chlorophylls, other pigments are also found, and that pigment are carotenoids. In some algae, special pigment like phycobilins are also found, and we will discuss that in the red algae part. But to carry out photosynthesis, these photosynthetic pigments are necessary. And in a photosynthetic pigment, specifically in case of chlorophyll, if we talk, chlorophyll A, and in carotenoids, if we talk beta carotene, these are considered as a universal pigment of algae because they are found in most of the algae. Okay, so that two pigment are important. Now the reserve food in is generally starch, so that also you should remember. The reserve food is starch in case of this particular part of algae. Then we come to the reproduction. Okay, we have discussed already that the cell wall is made up of this thing. They can be unicellular, filamentous, colonial. They can be, we can say, the particularly photosynthetic, and they have pigment. They are photosynthetic actually. Okay, they have a thyroid body, that also we have discussed. Plant body is not differentiated into roots family. But now we are going to discuss the part specifically of reproduction. And when we talk about reproduction in case of algae, it is of three types, that is vegetative, asexual, and sexual. In case of vegetative reproduction, if we talk, it carried out or it occur by a fragmentation. And in a fragmentation, the filament of algae break into small pieces, and this small pieces or each fragment of the filament which is formed due to the breakdown get developed into the new thallus. So you can see the filamentous in fragmentation in case of a spirogyra specifically. This is whole filament, and this due to the particular mechanical injury or any mechanical pressure it get divided into two fragments. So this two fragment can form new thallus. Okay, so that is vegetative reproduction. After this, if we talk about asexual reproduction occur by the production of different type of spores, and these spores which are going to be produced, these spores are asexual spores. These spores are asexual spore because these spores are going to be produced by mitosis, not by meiosis. So whatever the asexual spore in algae are mitospores, and the most common among them is the juice spore. You can see this is the juice spore are producing from the filament, and as you can see in this picture, they have a flagella, so they are motile. So they are flagellated, motile, and on a germination give rise to the new plant or new algae. That is the capability of the juice spore. And we have discussed this juice spore in detail in fungus part already. So we're going to talk about sexual reproduction, but before sexual reproduction we also talk about some of the characteristic of this juice spore. And in this characteristic you should write that this juice spore are planospore or motile spore. They are produced endogenously within juice sporangia, and they are produced in juice sporangia in a favorable condition. And one more point, they are naked. Yes, cell wall less. Okay, so this is the thing which occur in a characteristic of this particular. The aplanospore non-motile spore can also be produced in case of algae as a asexual spore. Then sexual reproduction is found, and if you talk about sexual reproduction, it takes place through the fusion of two gametes. So male and female gamete are going to be fused. But this male and female gamete can be of similar size, can be of dissimilar size. One can be large, one can be small. So here this sexual reproduction is of three types, that is isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. So this is the particular sexual reproduction occurring in the spirogyra actually. Now if here we have to define this sexual reproduction, and this sexual reproduction is of three types, that is isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Let's discuss this. When we talk about isogamous or isogamy, the gametes which are going to be fused are flagellated and similar in size, or non-flagellated but similar in size. So they can be motile or non-motile, but the preliminary thing that we have to remember here is that they are of similar in size. Such a reproduction is called isogamous, and this isogamous is found in case of Chlamydomonas species and the Spirogyra. Now, apart from this, you can see here in isogamy, the male and female gamete are there that are produced. They are similar in size and they are getting fused. They can both be motile or non-motile. Now, before understanding an isogamy, here I need to make you to write the technical definition. See, if these gametes are similar in size, so they are morphologically similar. But if we talk about its physiology, its cytology, its cytoplasm content, one is acting as like a male and one is acting like a female. So isogamous reproduction is a fusion of morphologically similar and physiologically dissimilar gamete. It is a fusion of morphologically similar and physiologically dissimilar. So physiologically they are not same because one is acting as a male, one is acting as a female. Yes or no? So one has a genes of the male, one has a genes of the female. So they are physiologically dissimilar gamete. If they fuse, that is known as isogamous. In isogamous, it is not only seen in case of this Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra. In Chlamydomonas also specifically it is seen in case of the Chlamydomonas debrinum species. And it is also can be seen in case of Spirogyra. It is also seen in case of the Urothrix. It is also found in case of the Ectocarpus and Cladophora. But here, this Cladophora show isogamy, but Cladophora is bifurcated. Remember, it is motile. Okay. Apart from this, here Spirogyra is non-motile. Its gametes are non-motile. Here also it is motile. If we talk further, then this is the thing which is found in case of isogamy. Now let's talk about an isogamy. In an isogamous, the fusion of two gametes occur, but that is on dissimilar size, and then only it can be termed as an isogamous. And it is seen in case of the species of Chlamydomonas, that is Chlamydomonas brownie. And in brownie, as you can see in the diagram, the gametes are motile. So if we talk about technical definition in case of this anisogamy, then the technical definition is fusion of morphologically as well as physiologically dissimilar gamete. Morphologically they are dissimilar in size, and physiologically obvious one is representing as a male and another one is representing as a female. So we can say the particular morphologically as well as physiologically dissimilar gamete are going to be fused in an anisogamy. But oogamy is one of the advanced or evolved type of anisogamy. And in this evolved type of anisogamy, fusion occurs between one large non-motile female gamete. We remember what is this? This is important one that you need to look at. The large is there, and which one? Non-motile is there, means static. Which one? Female gamete, and the motile male gamete that are going to fuse in case of the oogamous condition. And here the example are volvox and fucus. Volvox and fucus. Some other example are also here, but you can see here the particularly male gamete is motile and small, and female gamete is large, okay, and not motile. So life cycle is generally haplotic, and zygote act as a oocyte in case of this Okay, means after male and female gamete get fused, zygote is going to be formed, and after zygote, mitosis is not going to happen. Zygote will immediately undergo meiosis, so zygote is considered as a meiocyte. But we are talking about oogamy, so if we write a technical definition of oogamy as well, it is a fusion of morphologically as well as physiologically dissimilar gamete. So this is the oogamous. Yes, but in this oogamous, we are still remaining with some of the examples. Okay, here volvox and fucus is given. Right, some more example in this oogamy. That is volvox, fucus. You can write cara, sargassum. You can also write one more example of chlamydomonas. That is chlamydomonas oxifera. But we remember we have studied that in Chlamydomonas debrinum isogamy is seen, in Chlamydomonas browni anisogamy is seen, and in Chlamydomonas coxifera oogamous condition is seen. Means Chlamydomonas species show isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy all. But if somebody asks which one is the most common, so most common type of sexual reproduction is isogamy. So we can write isogamy is most common in chlamydomonas. Okay, so let's talk further. So that we have discussed about the oogamy and that oogamy particular sexual reproduction. Now if we talk about life cycle, as I told you now, if we talk about the life cycle, in case of algae, that is haplontic. And here what happens? The meiosis of zygote occur. So this haplontic life cycle is also known as zygotic meiosis. Okay, so that is the particularly occur in the life cycle of algae. Why? Because plant body of algae is haploid. So zygotic meiosis occur. But exceptionally, brown algae are diploid. So the one species of brown algae, that is fucus, that show diplontic life cycle. And if you want to draw the life cycle, you can see that suppose this is the male gamete, this is the female gamete, and this male gamete and female gamete fuse, syngamy occur, and zygote is formed. This zygote is diploid, but it is not undergoing a particularly mitosis. it again undergo meiosis, and in if it undergo meiosis, it is going to form a haploid body, and that haploid body in future it will produce a gamete by mitosis, and that process is going to named as gametogenesis. So here zygote undergo meiosis, but gamete are produced through mitosis in case of the haplontic life cycle. So now we are going to talk about the all three algae in detail by the classification, and in this classification we are going to study green algae, brown algae and red algae. And now if we classify this into these three classes, then it is mainly based on photosynthetic pigment. It is mainly based on pigmentation or photosynthetic pigment. In addition to that, the stored food is also used as a base. Then, apart from stored food, the cell wall composition is also used as a basis. So, and apart from that, flagellation is also used as a base during this classification. So, here actually four bases are used: pigmentation, that is a type of photosynthetic pigment; stored food, cell wall composition, and flagellation. But which is the main basis if somebody asks, then you should remember that that is the photosynthetic pigment. And they are divided into three main classes: chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, and rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae are known as green algae. Remember, this chlorophyceae are known as green algae. They look green in color, so they are named as green algae. Phaeophyceae are known as brown algae, and rhodophyceae are known as red algae. And we are going to discuss these three algae one by one in detail. So first we start with the chlorophyceae, that is green algae. If we talk about chlorophyceae, the members of chlorophyceae are commonly called green algae, and you can see these are some of the diagram of green algae. But if we talk about the plant body of green algae, they can be unicellular, they can be colonial, or they can be filamentous. And in some of the previous slide, when we were studying about the general unicellular, filamentous, and colonial algae, we have studied some of the example, and in this we have mainly deal with this green algae example. Like in unicellular, we have also discussed, we already discussed that Chlamydomonas is found, Chlorella is found, and Acetabularia is found. In filamentous, we have discussed about Ulothrix and Spirogyra. And in colonial, we have already discussed about the synovium, that is a wallbox colony. So that all are the green algae. So they can be, what you need to remember, they can be unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. And if you need to write the example, whatever that we have written in the previous slides, you can go through that. Now they are usually grass green due to the dominance of pigment chlorophyll A and B. They have which pigment they are found? Particularly chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B is found mainly. So because of this, they are grass green in color. The pigments are localized in definite chloroplast. They have a particular chloroplast. And if we talk about other pigment which are found in this, apart from chlorophyll A and B, then the carotene, beta carotene is found. That is a particular type of carotene which is found here. And some xanthophyll are also found. And in xanthophyll, the yellow colored luteaxanthin and violaxanthin are found. Luteaxanthin and violaxanthin are found. So after this pigment, we are going to talk about the chloroplast. The chloroplast in which these pigments are found, these chloroplasts are of different shape. They can be discoid, they can be plate-like, discoid means disc-like, plate means plate-like. They can be reticulate means net-like. They can be cup-shaped, spiral or ribbon-shaped, and that different shape of chloroplast are found in different species of green algae. You can see these are some particular discoid chloroplast. You can see. Then you can see these are the some plate-like chloroplast. Then these are some of reticulate chloroplast, net-like. Then cup-shaped chloroplast are seen in case of this one. Then spiral or ribbon-shaped chloroplast you can see like this. But if we see this discoid chloroplast, then in which species this discoid chloroplast are found, then you need to write the name of the species. So these discoid chloroplasts are found in case of the green algae, that is Cara. Then these are the plate-like, and these plate-like chloroplasts are found in case of the Fritzchiella. Then these cup-like chloroplasts are found in case of the Chlamydomonas. Then this reticulate or net-like chloroplasts are found in case of Odogonium. And then spiral or ribbon-shaped chloroplasts are found in case of the Spirogyra. Some more shape are also found like girdle shape chloroplast are found in case of Ulothrix. And star-shaped or stellate. So stellate or star-shaped chloroplast are found in case of Zygnema. So these are the different shape which are found in case of the different shape of chloroplast in case of green algae. Then after the photosynthetic pigment, the chloroplast, we are going to discuss about the food in case of green algae. When we talk about the storage food, most of the members have one or more storage bodies that are called as pyrenoids. What they are called as pyrenoids. And these pyrenoids are located within the chloroplast. So the question is, what are pyrenoids? Pyrenoids contain protein beside starch. Why protein beside starch? Because these are the proteinaceous bodies actually. And these proteinaceous bodies synthesize starch. So they are particularly known as a protein beside starch. If I want to make you to understand this protein beside starch, see, these are the proteinaceous body. And this proteinaceous body synthesize starch. So central core of protein, and it is covered by starch. So what we write? Protein beside starch. So what we can write here also, that they have a starch coating. So sometimes they can ask that coating in pyrenoids is made up of, then you should know that there is going to be made up of starch, and central core in pyrenoids is made up of, then it is made up of protein. Okay. Apart from starch, in some algae, the food is stored in the form of oil droplet as well. So you can see that these are the pyrenoids, and these are the pyrenoids or a proteinaceous body which store starch. Usually green algae have a cell wall. After reserve food, next we talk about the cell wall. So green algae usually have a rigid cell wall. And if we talk about rigid cell wall, they have an outer layer and inner layer. The cell wall of green algae is known as pectocellulosic. So they have an outer layer of pectose and inner layer of cellulose. Then, in case of green algae, if we talk about reproduction is can be of vegetative reproduction, and in vegetative reproduction, it is by fragmentation, as we have discussed already. Then, if we talk about asexual reproduction occur by a flagellated juice spore produced within juice sporangia, and we have studied that juice sporangia are produced endogenously within favorable conditions. The sexual reproduction shows variation in the type and formation of sexes, and it may be isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. And we have already discussed what is the difference between isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. Okay, you can see this. Already we have discussed technical definition as well. So if you talk about some common known green algae, then that are Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Cara, Ulothrix, and Spirogyra. And we have discussed all these examples of Chlamydomonas species, Volvox, Cara, Ulothrix, Spirogyra. They all belong to green algae. So if we talk some more detailing about this, then we have to talk about some detail about the Cara and their sex organ. First, I want to make you write one more statement, that habitat. If we talk about the habitat of this green algae, these green algae are cosmopolitan. They are found everywhere mostly. Okay. Then, if we talk about some more detail, then we have to talk about the sex organ. During performing a sexual reproduction, they need a sex organ. And if we talk about the sex organ, are unicellular and non-jacketed. They are unicellular, single-celled, and non-jacketed. And this unicellular, single-celled, non-jacketed sex organ are named as antheridium and oogonium. Antheridium is male sex organ and oogonium is female sex organ. But if we talk about exceptional, then exceptionally it is known that so as we have discussed, they have a antheridium and oogonium as a male sex organ and female sex organ respectively. and they are unicellular and non-jacketed. But as I told you, there is an exception. And if we talk about exception, that is Cara. This Cara has a multicellular and jacketed sex organ. And this multicellular and jacketed sex organ are named as globule and nucleus. Globule is known as male sex organ and nucleus is known as female sex organ. Okay. Now, if we talk about Cara, then in Cara, that is a green algae, it is also known as stone butt. If we see the diagram of Cara, Cara image somewhat look like this. It has somewhat node into node differentiation. And watch each node in Cara, you will see some like this branches are seen. Like these branches are seen. Like these branches are seen. And if we see the structure of one branch in detail, you will see that in branches there is a globule which is present below the branch, and this is a nucleus which is a female sex organ which is present above the branch. So like this, the particular Cara is, see, so this is the particular information about Cara. Okay. Now after this, we note down some more information about the particular green algae. Then we talk about the flagella in case of green algae. In green algae, if we talk about flagellation, then then 2 to 8 flagella are seen, and these 2 to 8 flagella are equal in size and they are apical in position. And they are at apex. They are at apex. In habitat of also, if we write according to the NCRT, the habitat is this green algae are found in fresh water. They are also found in salt water, and they are found in brackish water. Brackish water is a mixed type of water where both salt water and fresh water mix. Okay, so they at that particular quite also this particular algae are found. Now, apart from this, the top, then some green algae are there which are found at different location. So, if we talk about habitat in detail, then some green algae or some algae are number one, epizoic. Epizoic means they are present on animals. And if we write their examples, if we write their examples, then one alga, that is green alga, is cladophora. And this cladophora is present on mollusk shell. And another example is cyanoderma and trichophilus. As we have studied, the algae can grow on sloth beer also. This trichophilus is a blue-green algae, and this present on sloth beer. Apart from this, the second group, which is endozoic. Endozoic are the algae which present inside the body of animal. And if we talk about the example of endozoic, that are zoochlorella and zooxanthellae. That both are found inside hydra. Okay, so that is endozoic species of algae. Some parasitic green algae are also known. And if we take about the third example of parasitic green algae, then this live as parasite, this parasitic green algae live as parasite and cause disease. And if we talk about example, then the genus is Cephalurose. And if we talk about Cephalurose, the main species is Cephalurose virescens, and this Cephalurose virescens cause red rust disease of tea. And specifically, it is known that this algae remain in the leaves of tea plant. Okay, so these are the some of the particularly parasitic green algae. And almost we have done with this particular green algae. Last, we are going to talk about some of the economic importance. And if we talk about economic importance of this green algae, then we come to know that we come to know that one, it is used as food, and if you talk about food, then there is a one species about non-motile green algae, that is chlorella, which has large amount of protein. So this chlorella is a source of food and O2 for space travelers, and it is a single celled green algae. So it is a single cell protein source, so it is also known as SCP, single cell protein, and it is used as food by the space travelers. Apart from this, chlorelin antibiotic is obtained from chlorella. Okay, then here we remember, along with chlorella, spirulina is also used as a food of source and O2 for the space travelers. And third thing, it is also used in sewage treatment plant for the oxidation of sewage. And in this, it is known that sewage oxidation ponds contain chlamydomonas and chlorella. This green algae has some of this economic importance. Along with this, it is known that green algae are most advanced algae, and green algae are most advanced algae. So it is believed that green algae are ancestor of higher plants, ancestor of higher land animals. Actually, there is no biochemical, cytological, and morphological similarities between land plants and another group of algae except the green algae. So there is no similarity of higher plant with the other group of algae except the green algae, and they have a similarity, maximum similarity with the green algae, like they both possess land plant and green algae both possess same type of chlorophyll, that is A and B, and carotenoids. They have a similar type of cell wall composition like cellulose and pectin compounds. Starch is showed as a food, and the flagella are similar in motile forms. Okay. So because of this similarity in higher plants and green algae, it is considered that green algae are the particular ancestors of the plant. Okay, dear students, so this is all about the green algae. Now, after green algae, whatever the example we have discussed in green algae, you should remember that all are important. And now after green algae, we are going to study the brown algae, that is phaeophyceae. So let's talk about the phaeophyceae. So the members of phaeophyceae are known as brown algae, and these are primarily found in marine habitat. They are known to occur primarily in case of marine habitat. Means they prefer to grow in salt water. Apart from salt water, they are found in fresh water as well as, but rarely they are found in fresh water. We remember, primarily in marine habitat. Okay, as you can see. Then you can write rarely fresh water, also found in brackish water. That is mixed water of salt water and the fresh water. It is known that this phaeophyceae or brown algae show great variation in size and form because some smaller forms of this phaeophyceae also exist and some larger forms which can grow up to the 100 feet, which are known as kelps, that are also found. So they range from simple branched filamentous form like ectocarpus to the profusely branched forms as represented by the kelps. So they can be as simple as it is, or they can be profusely branched like kelps. You can see some of the diagrams which are given here. This is the height of 100 meters where a kelps can reach. Okay. If we talk about pigments of Phaeophyceae, they are brown in color due to some of the pigments. And if we talk about these pigments that are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, then carotenoids, and carotenoids, the specific beta carotene is found, that is only beta carotene, and some xanthophylls are also found. Now here in carotenoids, you should write beta carotene. So beta carotene is found in case of carotene. Then in xanthophyll, it is known that fucoxanthin is found mainly. And this fucoxanthin is responsible for the brown color. So the amount of fucoxanthin, if we talk in case of brown algae, is responsible for giving a brown color to the brown algae. If the amount of fucoxanthin is less, then there is a light brown color will be observed. If there is a concentration of fucoxanthin is high, then a particular dense or dark brown color can be observed. Apart from this, we talk further. Next, we are going to talk that they vary in color from olive green to the various shades of brown depending on the amount of xanthophyll pigment, that is fucoxanthin present in. Just I told you that the amount of fucoxanthin will decide that which color they are going to give. Then if we talk about food storage, then food is stored as a complex carbohydrate, and this complex carbohydrate are laminarin and mannitol, which are a derivative of carbohydrates in which the food is getting stored. If we talk about cell wall, the vegetatives have a cellulosic cell wall in case of the particular brown algae. They are usually covered on the outside by a gelatinous coating of algae. So if we talk about cell wall, they have a cellulose plus algine. Okay. So suppose this is a cellulosic cell wall, and over this you will find this particular algae like this thing is observed. Okay, so few words. So this gelatinous coating of algae is formed. Then the protoplast, if we talk, they contain plastids, vacuole, and nucleus. Protoplast contain plastid, a centrally located vacuole, and the nucleus. And if we talk about plant body, the plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast. If we talk about the plant body, it has a three parts: holdfast, stipe, and frond. Now, holdfast help in attachment. You can see in this diagram. This is a particularly holdfast. This help in what attachment to the substratum. Then the stipe is there, that is a stalk, and frond is there. That frond has a photosynthetic organ. Frond is a photosynthetic organ. It carry out photosynthesis. So this is a hold fast. You can see stipe and the frond. Vegetative reproduction takes place by the fragmentation. If we talk, okay. Asexual reproduction, if we talk, that is in most brown algae by a biflagellated zoospore that are pear-shaped. Actually, in case of green algae, they are particularly we can say a pyriform shape. Here they are pear-shaped or kidney shaped, and they have unequal laterally inserted flagella. So if we talk the diagrammatically, then they look like this. These are the flagella. Then sexual reproduction, if we talk, it can be isogamous, anisogamous, or oogamous, as we have discussed. The union of gamete takes place in water or within a oogonium, that is oogamous species. The gametes are pyriform or pear-shaped and bear a two laterally inserted flagella. You can see in this diagram. The common forms of brown algae. If we talk example, that is Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, and Fucus. These all are the brown algae. Now, if we talk about this, these all are the particular different species of the brown algae. As you can see, the brown shading, and these are the all examples. Now, we are going to talk about some detailing of this brown algae. Then if we talk, then this brown algae are also known as seaweeds or kelps. This brown algae, if we talk about some more characteristics, they are multicellular and usually they are filamentous. And they are largest in size because they can grow up to the 100 meters. And in that, if we talk about largest brown algae, the name of largest brown algae is Macrocystis. Then we talked about gelatinous coating of algae. So what is that algae? Algae is a hydrocolloid which cover the cellulosic cell wall or phycocolloid. Hydrocolloid or hycocolloid means the material which has water holding capacity. So the material which has a high water holding capacity, that is nothing but phycocolloid or hydrocolloid or gelatinous coating, that is known as algae. So this algae actually protect brown algae against desiccation and shock and shock. This algae is also used in ice cream as a thickening agent, also used in dentures measurement. Here, if we talk about denture measurement, they are used in this is a particularly used in the measurement of denture in the dentistry department. Then it is also used in manufacturing soap, ice cream, polish cream, and plastic. If we talk about this brown algae in more detail, then we come to know that they have a hold fast and all this. Okay. In this, three examples are too much important. Like the diagram of fucus, which is given in NCRT, that is important because if you see the fucus diagram, it look like this. And here it is hold fast. Now apart from this, if we draw this structure, this is a structure of actually uh, fucus in which this is midrib actually, and here you will see this is the particular photosynthetic part that is known as frond. But apart from that, you will find some bladder which are known as air bladder, and this air bladder help in providing biomes. Apart from this, one more example is seen, that is laminaria. And this laminaria, if you see the structure, it somewhat look like this. So this is hold fast, this is stipe or stalk, and this is lamina. Okay, so this is found in case of the leafy algae, that is laminaria. Then apart from this, the one more example of dictyota, the diagram, profusely branched diagram of dictyota is given in NCERT. You can see that there is this type and this are particularly given. Now, if we talk about this laminaria specifically, we come to know that this laminaria has some important and it is used as food. And one more thing, that iodine and bromine are obtained. Apart from this, sargassum is also used as food. So this is the particularly, we can say, some of the points with respect to brown algae. But one more point is here, that is they have a trumpet hyphae. And these trumpet hyphae are known as conducting tubes. And this trumpet hyphae conduct food from lamina or front to hold fast, and they are present in stipe specifically. So they are functionally similar to phloem because they carry out transport of food. Okay, and in this one species whose name is sargassum, we should note out some importance with respect to that also in case of brown algae. The sargassum species, if we talk, that species is found to be free floating on the sea surface. It is found to be free floating on sea surface and cover a large area of sea in part of North Atlantic Ocean. And this area is known as Sargasso Sea. Okay, so this is the some of the important point with respect to the sargassum. Okay. So this is about what? A brown algae. After brown algae, next we are going to talk about the red algae. And this red algae are known as rhodophyceae. If we talk about this red algae, rhodophyceae, they are red in color, and they are red in color due to the some of the reddish pigment. It is known that these red algae are ancient or primitive algae. First important point out is that they are the primitive or ancient algae. So rhodophyceae members are commonly called red algae. You can see these are the red algae. The predominance of the red pigment, that is I-phycoerythrin, in their body. They have different pigments, but R-phycoerythrin, which is the red color pigment, that is the dominant in this. Because of this, they are known as red algae. The majority of the red algae are marine, with more number found in the warmer areas. Yes, one of the important points that you should remember, dear student. If we talk about their pigment, about their habitat, they are particularly mostly found in marine habitat, but they prefer to grow in warmer areas. And if we continue to write about this particular habitat, then the mostly salt water, some are fresh water, and they are also found in brackish water. So that is their habitat. They occur in both higher light intensity and the lower light intensity regions. So they occur in both higher and lower light intensity region close to the surface of water. Also found at a great depth in ocean where relatively little light penetrates. So the thalli of most of the red algae are multicellular, most of them are multicellular, and it is shown that they have a complex body organization. So that is some point with respect to red algae. The major pigment, if you see, in case of red algae, they are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D, then the phycoerythrin. But here, dear student, phycoerythrin, if we talk, so in phycoerythrin, if we talk, then specifically the R phycoerythrin, which is red in color, that is dominant. Okay, because it is red colored. And apart from this, R phycocyanin are also found, which are blue color. And apart from that, they have also beta carotene. In carotenoids, they have beta carotene. So these all are the pigment, and on the basis of pigment, red algae are similar to somewhat blue-green algae. On basis of pigment, on basis of pigment, red algae are similar to blue-green algae. Red algae are the deepest algae because it is found at the depth in the water body. Then if we talk about food, the food is stored as a Floridian starch. And this Floridian starch is very similar to the amylopectin and glycogen in structure, means in branching. Okay, so that is a stored food. The red algae usually reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. If we talk about reproduction, vegetative by the fragmentation. They reproduce asexually as well, and in asexually as well, they reproduce by the non-motile spore because the red algae is the completely non-motile algae because no motile stage is found in the life cycle of red algae or blue-green algae because completely cilia and flagella are absent in this red algae. Okay, so no motile spore is found. Non-motile spore are used in a asexual reproduction. When they reproduce sexually, during sexual reproduction also non-motile gametes are involved and they carry out oogames. The female sex organ specifically in red algae is flask-shaped and it is named as carpogonium. Be remember, female sex organ is known as carpogonium. Usually what we call in case of algae, female sex organ oogonium, but specifically in case of red algae, the sex organ is female sex organ is flask-shaped, so it is carpogonium, and the non-flagellated male gamete are produced that are known as spermatium. The non-motile male gamete are known as spermatium. You can see this is the carpogonium, flask-shaped. Then sexual reproduction is of oogamous type and completed by the complex post-fertilization development stages. The common members which are included in red algae are Polysiphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria, and Gelidia. You can see this is some of the diagrams of this all algae, red algae. Now, here we are going to talk about some more points regarding red algae. So we were discussing just particular sexual reproduction, complex post-fertilization development changes we have discussed. Then we talk about life cycle. If we talk about life cycle, then it is diplobiotic in case of Polysiphonia and haplobiotic in Batrachosperm. Okay. Then we talk about some of the examples, and in examples we are going to discuss mainly the economic importance. So all the points are going to be covered here one by one. So if we talk about economic importance of red algae, then we come to know that the first example is Harveyella. Harveyella is a colorless parasitic red algae, and it is parasitic on other alga. Then second is Gelidium and Gracilaria. From this, agar agar is obtained, and this agar agar is a hydrocolloid or phycocolloid, which is obtained from this Gracilarium and Gracilaria. So it is phycocolloid and hydrocolloid, means it has also a water holding capacity. So it is, this agar agar is used to prepare culture medium to grow microbes, and also used in preparation of ice cream and jellies. Okay. Then next we are going to talk about third example, that is contrast crisp. This contrast crisp, if we talk, then it is known as Irish moss. From this Irish moss or contrast crisps, carrageenan is obtained. And this carrageenan is a colloid or hydrocolloid used as gelating agent in food industries. In food industries. Okay. It is known that Capsules of medicine are also prepared from carrageenan. And fourth example is porphyra, that is edible algae. So it is used as a food. And the last example which we are going to discuss, that is Batrachospermum. If someone asks, give the name of the red algae which is not red in color. Yes, it is colored, but it is not red in color. Then this is a Batrachospermum because it is somewhat bluish green and it is found in fresh water. Okay, so this is the particular above points about the red algae, and that is all about the algae part, dear student. I hope you understood. Now, next class we will be starting with the part that is bryophytes. Till that, thank you everyone. Okay, let's see if some slides are remaining still. Okay. So last, yes, before completing this lecture, we discussed some point. Algae are useful to many variety of ways. Okay. So half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by the algae through photosynthesis. That you should remember. Being photosynthetic, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in the immediate environment. They are of paramount importance as primary producer of energy-rich compound, which form the basis of food cycle because they are main one. Many species of Porphyra laminaria sargassum are among the 70 species of marine algae that are used as food. That we have discussed. It is NCERT statement already. Already we have discussed that. Certain marine brown and red algae produce large amount of hydrocolloid, water holding substances that we have discussed already. That is algae, brown algae, carrageenan, red algae. Then agar-agar used to grow microbes that is obtained from the grasses, Gelidium, Gracilaria, that also we have discussed. Okay, you can see this is the agar-agar where it can be used. Iodine is also extracted from the kelps like Laminaria. Chlorella spirulina used as a food for the space starters, that also we have discussed. Okay, so dear students, that is all about this lecture, and thank you.